Lucky Charms.
Hey everyone, my name's Andrea and you're watching Popcorn Horror, and in today's episode we're going to be counting down our pick of the top 5 worst horror movie remakes. They're everywhere! Over the past 20 years, the time it takes for Hollywood to reboot a horror franchise has gotten steadily shorter. Often these glossy remakes completely miss the point, or fail to deliver the impact of their source material. Whether they're uninspired, unoriginal, or simply laughable, here's 5 horror movie remakes that nobody wanted. Number 5, House of Wax. Here's a tip for aspiring horror filmmakers. Exercise extreme caution when remaking a Vincent Price movie, without Vincent Price. The 2005 reimagining is a remake of the 1953 classic, which itself is a remake of an early colour horror movie, Mystery of the Wax Museum. The original was filmed in the early 2-colour Technicolor process, and House of Wax showcased 2 other then novel film technologies, 3D and stereophonic sound. The 2005 remake, however, brought nothing new to the table. Price captured the charming yet sinister central character perfectly, but the newer version is just a formulaic teen slasher. To be fair, Paris Hilton is no more unlikable than any of the other characters, but when the film's marketing promised her death as the movie's only redeeming feature, well, it wasn't off to a great start. The plot was needlessly complicated compared with the relatively simple mystery of the 2 previous films, and attempts to make the wax aspect more gruesome and up the shock value just came off as cheesy. Number 4, The Omen. The Omen is a timeless classic, and its striking score and unnerving story didn't really feel in need of updating. And yet again, Hollywood replaces a beloved lead actor, Gregory Peck, with this guy. I mean, come on, you had Albus fucking Dumbledore in the bill and he didn't even get a starring role. Shame on you, Hollywood. Shame on you. More cynical horror fans might suggest that the 6th of June 2006 release date was the Omen remake's main catalyst for existing, simply a cash-in and a coincidence. Whatever the reason, the movie wasn't well received. A great deal of the dialogue is just cut and pasted from the 1976 version script. Director John Moore recreated many shots from the original at the same locations, and like many other films on this list, we're really starting to wonder what was even the point of remaking it in the first place. Even child actor Seamus Davy Fitzpatrick fails to capture the lovable evil of Damien in the original. He's never ominous or threatening, he just looks like a 5-year-old trying to be threatening. And when your film is about the Antichrist in child form, you really want to get that creepy kid thing down. I mean, how hard is it to find one? Kids are pretty scary in their own, like without a cut and pasted script. While House of Wax deviated way too far from its source material, The Omen just doesn't venture far enough. Number 3, A Nightmare on Elm Street. The remake cycle has swallowed up most of horror's biggest names, but possibly the slasher reboot's worst offender is the 2010 version of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy's seen some bizarre sequels over the years, but Robert Englund always managed to make the character enjoyable to watch on screen. Unlike other reboots which combined elements of many films in the original franchise, this remake wanted to focus solely on updating the story from the first film. This means dropping some of Freddy's amazing one-liners and campy death sequences, which would be fine, but they didn't exactly replace it with terror either. Freddy becomes just sort of generic. While the dream sequences are so memorable and frightening in Craven's original film, this version just doesn't do much to make Freddy stand out from any other character. And the hyper-focus on the paedophilia aspects of his character just felt like it was just there for shock value, and didn't really do anything for the plot. Remember the great practical effects in the original? Most of that is gone. Freddy's face is largely CG, and he never really looks like he's there as a result. He just looks like a cheesy video game rendition of Freddy Krueger. Speaking of video games, the one-liners are replaced with what honestly sounds like bad video game dialogue.
You remember everything now, don't you? Your memories are what fuels me.
It sounds like he's trying so hard to be threatening, but it just never comes across that way. Number 2, Black Xmas. Black Christmas was one of the earliest examples of the slasher movie, a tense murder mystery, and a fantastic festive horror viewing. When it was remade as Black Xmas in 2006, it was precisely none of these things. To be fair, some of the deaths are pretty creative. They just fit in better in a Mortal Kombat game, that's all we're saying. There's no real suspense or atmosphere, just a standard stalk and slash storyline. In Japan, interestingly, it was released as a follow-up to the Final Destination franchise, and incidentally starred 4 actors from the series, and that actually makes more sense. It bears far more resemblance to Final Destination than it does to Bob Clark's classic film. The marketeers obviously had very little confidence in the film from the start, as the film sequences never intended to be part of the film to use for advertising purposes, some of which didn't even feature the same actors. Number 1. Psycho. Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho probably could have been made in colour, but it's pretty universally agreed that the black and white visuals are key to the film's atmosphere, and yet, the only purpose we can see of the 1998 remake seems to be to tell the story of Norman Bates in colour. It's set at the time of filming, but other than that, very little has changed. And if you thought ripping off the Omen sounded bad, Psycho was a far closer shot-for-shot remake than most others, copying Hitchcock's camera movements and editing, as well as most of the original script. Bernard Herrmann's memorable musical score is reused as well, though with a new arrangement by Danny Elfman and recorded in stereo. Meh, you've done better, Danny. There's more gore, of course, but it looks out of place in Psycho. Most of the wounds were added digitally too, which really doesn't help with the realism, and the strange dream images intercut with murders make it look far more dated than the original. The exterior motel set was the same one used in the original Psycho. However, the house was a new set constructed directly in front of the old house on the back lot at Universal Studios. Whether it's design or just the fact that it's in colour, but the house really just doesn't come across as menacing anymore. It looks like a theme park haunted house. And Hollywood, this is the last time I'm warning you. Vince Vaughn belongs in Jennifer Aniston rom-coms and awkward Ben Stiller movies, not replacing Anthony Perkins, the only redeeming feature from the sequels. For these reasons, and probably many more, we've named 1998 Psycho as number 1 on our list today. Hey guys, thanks for checking us out. Did you agree with our list? What horror remakes do you hate the most? Remember to subscribe for more videos weekly and check out popcornhorror.com for even more indie horror content. Lastly, we'd love to make more videos like this and do a lot of other awesome stuff on our website and in the global horror community, but we need help from our fans. Click on our Patreon link below and find out how you can support us. From just $1 and with great rewards, we'd love for you to take a look.